Hello, my name is Joel Copes, and today I will be presenting my idea networking presentation on soccer coaching. So first of all, looking at the industry and the major players within the coaching industry. So first of all, you have United Premier Soccer League, UPSL teams within the area. You also have National Premier Soccer League teams, which are known as NPSL teams, which are both semi-pro teams within the area. And you also have United Soccer League teams, USL teams within the area. You also have college teams such as University of North Georgia or University of Georgia. And the biggest major player in the area is probably Atlanta United Football Club. Here you can see the badges to the left, and to the right is the US Soccer Federation. So here, Atlanta would be in the MLS, which is the top of the pyramid. And you also have the national teams and the National Women's Soccer League as well. And then you have the semi-pro and the pro, and then the college, and then you have your youth and your local competitive leagues as well. So looking at the market analysis within soccer coaching, first of all, the market saturation, there is currently 778,989 soccer coaches within the US. This may seem a lot, but there are 10,000 clubs within the United States, and with all the growth of the soccer within the United States, there will be demand for coaches. Growth trends. So soccer in the US is growing at a really fast rate, and since 2012, there's been an increase of 27%. And every year, there's 3 million youth players registering every year. Soccer coaching is also set to grow 9.07 billion by 2025, and this is a massive stat. And soccer in itself is 10.3 billion in the United States. And all of these stats show that there's a continuous demand for soccer coaches within the United States. Looking at the typical profit margin, a professional coach makes $16,322 to $433,479, and a college coach on average makes $49,199 each year. And in Georgia, they make $49,624 a year. So looking at my SWOT analysis, my strengths would be I've got a UFSC license. I also have a lot of head coach connections, being at 3 colleges in 5 years. And I also have great communication skills, which is vital for becoming a soccer coach. And here you can see to the right, as I have the UFSC license, it's closer to the bottom of the pyramid. I would need to get the UFAB license, and then you can skip the elite youth license to the UFA license. And that would be ideal to become a soccer coach in the United States. And then UEFA Pro license is professional soccer coaches, as in England, like Manchester United, Liverpool, they all have the UEFA Pro license. And my weaknesses would be I need to get more of the coaching badges, and I also need more coaching experience, as I've only coached kids throughout my career. So looking at opportunities, as I've already said, I've great connections, and they can give me advice and support along the way. And they've already done that to help me what to do next throughout my career. I also know a professional soccer coach in England, and he's invited me to come over and watch his team practice and take notes, and that would be a great learning experience for me. Another opportunity is coaching badges are offered in Northern Ireland, and that's where I am from, and it's probably the easiest and also the cheapest place to do it within the whole world. So threats of becoming a soccer coach would be time consuming. All of my business contacts that I talked to said it's very hard to balance the soccer coaching and family, and just to get the timing right. Also, another threat would be completion of badges. It's very hard to complete the badges and pass them, and if you fail them, that you also have to pay them again, and they're very expensive to pay for them again. And another threat would be competition of coaches. Even though there's a lot of opportunities and soccer is growing within the United States very fast, there still is a competition with coaches. So Steps on becoming a college soccer coach, and this is what I really want to do. First of all, we need to become a graduate assistant, and I'm talking to a few positions right now. Also, then want to be an assistant coach at a college. Then I would want to be a head coach in NJCAA college, which is a junior college. And then whenever I do all of that and have enough experience, I want to finally go to the NCAA and coach one of their programs. So 3 qualities I got from personal quality checklist are that you have to be adaptable. So as a soccer coach, so you don't know if you're going to go into a team and if they're winning or losing. So you have to be able to adapt. You also have to be disciplined along the way. So you know that you're going to get this badge by this date, and then, for example, you have to get your FA license before you become a head soccer coach. So you have to be disciplined. You also want to be ambitious along the way and make sure that you will reach the top. So 2 areas that I could improve my business model are key resources. So for example, we need more badges. And the other area is channels, which is LinkedIn, so I could get more contacts and get to know more soccer coaches for more opportunities. So moving on to business contacts, I got 3 business contacts. First one was Dave Saxon. He coaches at Georgia Military College and he's the head coach there. So whenever I talked to him, he talked about his education. He got a sports management in his bachelor's and his master's degrees. He also has the UFA license, which I would want to take to become a head coach. And he also has the USSFA license, which is the equivalent to UFA license. He also talked about his experience. He was 2-year assistant coach at Southern Polytechnic State University. And then he spent 1 year as assistant coach at Georgia Perimeter College. He was then head coach at Louisburg College for 14 years before going to Georgia Military College. So a typical work week for him, he said, Monday to Friday, 8 to 4 o'clock. And that consists of different training sessions, meetings, and games and recruiting. He says this can vary depending on games during the weekend or at night. He also said work stays at work. So he says it's very important to balance family and work at the same time to make sure you get your priorities right. And then we also talked about the COVID-19 impact, how it had on him. And he said he felt like an online coach and he had never been one before, but he really liked it, but he wouldn't want to pursue an online coach. And then he also got better at technology as an older person. He said he got a lot better at using the likes of Zoom, and he said he even used Skype. And just before that, he just always used his email or his mobile phone. Another business contact I contacted was Tim Starr. He's the head coach at Emmanuel College in Georgia. And we also talked about his education, and he says he got his bachelor's in history and his master's degree in sports science. And he has the USSFA license for coaching in the United States. He talked about his experience, and he was a volunteer assistant at a women's Colorado Christian University before he went to Sheridan College, where he spent 2 years as a head coach. He then went to coach Malone University as a head coach, and he only spent 1 year here before moving to Emmanuel, and now he's in his 2nd season, about to start his 3rd season in the fall. Typical work week for him is 12 to 7 o'clock. He likes to take his training sessions later on in the evening from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So he starts recruiting in different meetings between people. It's 12 o'clock during the day. He also has 2 kids, so he says it's very important to balance his time. So he spends time with them in the morning before they go to school. And then he says how COVID-19 impacted him as well. And it was different for him because he actually took a new head coach role at Emmanuel during COVID. So he had to get to know everyone online. He said this was very difficult for him. And then another challenging experience for him because of COVID was because he came into a new team. He didn't know what he needed to recruit for the next fall because he didn't see any games throughout the whole year because of COVID. And then the last business contact I contacted was Patrice Paris from University of North Georgia, and he's the head coach. His education is bachelor's degree and master's degree in sports management. And then he actually went back in 2019 to do a doctorate in leadership. And then he also has an NSCAA Premier Diploma. And after talking to him about the doctorate in leadership, this is something I might want to pursue, as he has very good leadership towards the boys in the University of North Georgia soccer team. And his experience, he was an assistant coach at Georgia Southern University before he accepted the North Georgia men's soccer position. And a work week for him, he likes to start early in the morning and train early in the morning. So he starts at 8 to 4 o'clock. And he says, like the other two coaches, it just consists of practice, meetings, games, and recruiting. And he really enjoys it. And then COVID-19 impacted him. He said recruiting and communication was very difficult online because boys wouldn't get back to him in time, or he wouldn't hear of people for a week or two compared to being in person. And then he said it was just very difficult online, as I already mentioned, to just talk to the boys. And in conclusion, I'm still really interested, if not more interested, in becoming a head soccer coach after hearing all the stories and experiences from these three coaches. And I also love recruiting. I've helped before back home, and this is something I really would want to do. And also recruiting events. I love watching soccer, so I would love to go and recruit at these events where they go to different countries or different states to recruit for new players for the next fall. And then advanced opportunities. This is something that I really like, because if you do really well at one school, you might get an opportunity to go at an even higher level, or maybe even a professional level in soccer. And then future pursuits. So since this exercise, I've started to look at a graduate assistant position, which I've always looked at, but I really want to do it in sports management after talking to Dave Saxon and also Patrice Paris. And then after that, I want to do the OPT as an assistant coach. An OPT is for international students who can work 1 year after they graduate. So I want to find that as an assistant coach. And then I've really started to look at the UEFA B license, because I've already got the C, so I want to follow up on the B. And then USSF badges, which are equivalent to UEFA but are the American version. Thank you very much for listening.